What's going on, guys? It's Michael MGF, and today I'm going to be doing an analysis video on the new LEGO Star Wars 2017 Winter Wave pictures that just came out a few days ago, and I'm finally taking a quick break from the Rogue One figures that I'm working on to talk about these, and these photos came in from the Brick Fans Flickr, but I'll link to their site down in the description below, so definitely check that out. And there are some new microfighters that are coming out too, like the U-Wing, Y-Wing, Krennic Shuttle, the TIE Striker, 3 new buildable figures, but for the most part we're going to focus on just the main wave of sets, the 2 new battle packs, the Y-Wing, the battle on Scarif, and the rest that are not Rogue One, but still definitely pretty cool. So without further ado, guys, let's get started. Okay, so first up, we've got our new Rebel Trooper Battle Pack, and guys, you'll have to excuse the resolution. These photos are really not the greatest quality, so you'll have to bear with me throughout the rest of this video, but just do your best to make out what you can, and I'll zoom in on everything possible. So, yeah, our first Battle Pack here. The Battle Packs are fantastic with this wave. I mean, LEGO seriously has delivered with these 2 new Rogue One Battle Packs. It's just straight up infantry characters and no BS, and so we'll just go straight into it. The new Rebel Troopers, there's some mostly rehashed stuff going on here, but there's also some new printing, some new designs, and all the heads are all rehashes. There's nothing going on there. You even have a rehash of Snap Wexley's face, which I thought was a little awkward given that he's a somewhat decently recognized character in The Force Awakens, but that's a thing. He has a new torso, that Rebel there that's using his face has a new torso design, and I believe the legs are new on him as well, which I think is definitely pretty cool. And then he has a standard stud shooter, and then the Rebel, like the Rebel cap, but actually in dark bluish gray, which is super cool. And again, if you guys don't know, that's the official color for LEGO's dark gray. Yeah, then moving on, you can see the other Rebel soldier here with the brown jacket. That's an entirely new torso design, and that's really great. He even has some belt printing going on there, and I think his legs are the same design that we've seen in the Rogue One sets, as you'll see on the other 2 Rebels in a second, but he does have it. The design is printed on a pair of dark bluish gray legs as well, and then he has that new helmet that was introduced with the first Rogue One Wave 2. And yeah, and then I guess Rebel Trooper number 3 here has a rehashed torso. There's nothing new going on there. That's practically the same Rebel from the ATST. However, he does have his own unique pair of legs, and those look really nice as well from what we can see. And then our final Rebel has the exact same Rebel cap that you've seen, you know, previously on infinite amounts of Rebel minifigures, and then as you just saw it in dark bluish gray with the first one. So you can see that's being brought back in here. And then he has a new torso print as well, which looks really nice, and more belt printing and the same leg printing that was introduced with the first Rogue One wave. And of course, that's being rehashed again in dark or reddish brown, so that's definitely pretty cool, man. And then also the speeder bike, the builds in the new battle pack are really great, and these are awesome because you can actually, I think, really incorporate these into mocks, and I think these speeder bikes can definitely be of some use, even if they're even if they may not actually be in Rogue One. So yeah, you can see the speeder bike is pretty standard, pretty traditional. It looks like you can fit 1 Rebel on it, and you can go ahead and clip on their, you know, some of their stud shooters onto the little clips they have attached to the sides, and then the minifigure can somewhat grip onto the handlebars based on the main box art, so that's pretty cool. And then the command center, we've seen things like this before, nothing really too exciting, but a nice use of slopes and different hinge pieces, and you can see that minifigure can be mounted on the gun and can grip onto that one little, you know, that one little handlebar piece, and you also have a stud shooter built into the top of it. So aside from that, though, that's really it for our Rebel Trooper Battle Pack, and this is our first Rebel Trooper Battle Pack in a while. I can't even remember the last one. I mean, it's been seriously a long time since we've had a really good, solid Rebel Trooper Battle Pack, and this just looks so perfect, and I'm really glad that this is just so great for army building. You could buy a ton of these and still have a really great looking variety instead of, you know, in previous battle packs where they threw in like random Imperial officers, for instance, for no good reason, and you know, just things like that. You guys probably, you probably know what I'm talking about, but yeah, the new Rebel Trooper Battle Pack looks awesome. Next up, we've got the Imperial Trooper Battle Pack, and this seriously looks great, and honestly, better than the Rebel Trooper Battle Pack for 2 reasons. Obviously, number 1 being the new Death Trooper variant, and then also the fact that while the Walker may not exist anywhere in Star Wars canon, it's still a little bit of a nicer build than just that speeder bike and the command center that we got with the Rebel Trooper Battle Pack, or I guess I should say that we're going to get, because these sets aren't actually out. But yeah, so we'll just start off with the Death Trooper variant. It's in Rogue One, you you're gonna see, like multiple variants of Death Troopers, maybe just 2, but I think there's like 2 or 3 variants of Death Troopers, and the first 2 that we got with Krennic's shuttle were actually the ones that are much more equipped. They have more pouches, they've got a pauldron, they've got extra shells on their belts. I mean, they're just a lot bulkier and just, they've got a lot more, they're just a lot heavier in terms of the gear that they carry. And then we have the more standardized infantry Death Troopers that you'll also see in Rogue One that don't carry as much, and that's what you're seeing in this battle pack. So I think that's definitely really great that LEGO's already, introducing that variety, and they've already nailed down the 2 Death Trooper variants that we're going to see in Rogue One. So the helmet is not new, the legs are not new, both are still amazing, but the torso is new, and they look great. It's so awesome that you get 2 of them in this set. We're going to have no shortage of Death Troopers and no shortage of these new clean Stormtroopers. Man, when was it, I can't even think, I can't even remember a time when we had, a decent amount of Stormtroopers available to us. We've had the Rebel, we've had the Star Wars Rebels Stormtroopers, we've had the Battlefront Stormtroopers, but this is the first time that in a while that we're having, clean live-action versions of Stormtroopers just readily available in a battle pack once again. So, yeah, I mean, these Stormtroopers, I should mention, are pretty much exactly the same as the ones you saw in the Battlefront, the Galactic Empire Battle Pack last year. However, they do not have the jump packs and they do not have the battle damage as part of their design, and I think that's really great because I think that worked really well for the Battlefront Battle Pack because there's a lot of battle damage on Stormtroopers in the game, and LEGO brought that over into that set. But here, I think having the clean Stormtroopers, it looks great, and I cannot wait to pick up a few of these. And then, of course, the Walker, very reminiscent to previous Walkers we've had in battle packs. It's a little bit wider. I think this is definitely the widest one we've had so far. It does have some stud shooters incorporated onto the sides, and it looks like 3 points of articulation in the thighs, and then also around the ankles. And so, yeah, aside from that, though, I think that's pretty much it, and everything that we can see from this battle pack, and it looks really awesome. It would be nice if the Walker would be able to hold at least 2 of the minifigures, but that's really nitpicking. This is an incredibly solid set, and I cannot wait to pick up multiple of them. Our third set, the Battle on Scarif, another really nice looking set. I think LEGO has really done a great job with this little playset build, capturing the terrain of this new planet of Scarif that a decent, portion of the movie is going to be taking place in. So we're just going to start off with the minifigures, of course. We've got a new variant for Cassian Andor, and this is actually the variant that I'm making for my showcase, and that looks really nice. It looks like they really nailed the design of his brown jacket, and I mean, you really can't see it all that well, but usually you can expect the best in terms of LEGO's torso designs. And then the leg printing on him, it looks like he's got not, obviously it doesn't wrap around, all 4 sides of the leg, but it looks like they did print what they could of the straps on the front portions of his legs. I think that looks really awesome. And so, I mean, there's really not much else to add with Cassian. Just nice new variant for him. And then we do have the new Jyn Erso variant, if you can even call it that. It's more so just the same Imperial ground crew member that you saw with the TIE Striker. However, of course, as we've seen in the Rogue One trailers, Jyn does at one point disguise herself as the Imperial ground crew, so you can clearly tell that that's her wearing the suit. And unfortunately, while the head is still somewhat decent, and I have kind of grown accustomed to it a little bit more since my review, it's just the hairpiece, man. Well, what is that? Seriously? Wait, why? I mean, you'd think that they would have made a new hairpiece for Jyn Erso, the lead character of Rogue One, a Star Wars story. I mean, we had a new hairpiece for Rey and so many other new hairpieces with The Force Awakens. Even Finn had one. And it's just like, why did LEGO elect to just give Jyn Erso this entirely inaccurate hairpiece? You could argue that the front of it may look somewhat like her hairstyle, but it really doesn't, man. It's just not, it's not Felicity Jones' hairstyle in Rogue One, and I just find it really disappointing that LEGO made a new hairpiece for Rey, but they didn't make one for Jyn Erso, when honestly, you ask me, I think they both need one just as bad, and it's just like, I don't know, I just found that to be so disappointing. I was really looking forward to this new wave of sets and seeing a new hairpiece for Jyn Erso, and it looks like it's not going to happen. So hopefully it doesn't bother you guys nearly as much as it does me, but regardless, we do have a couple new Shore Trooper variants in this one, and these are obviously the more standardized infantry Shore Troopers. They're not of any particular rank. They're just standard Shore Troopers, so they don't have the additional sand blue and red markings, and the white is just straight up tan, brown, and pretty much everything that you saw on the original Shore Trooper that was obviously of, you know, the higher ranks in the TIE Striker, but this one does not have those additional colors, but it is the same design, and we do get 2 of them in this set, and that's really awesome. So yeah, now the actual build, holy crap, we haven't even talked about this yet. Like I said, I think LEGO has really nailed the terrain. I think this is a great looking little play set based around Scarif. You've got the palm tree in the background and all the tropical leaves, the sand. In terms of playability, it looks like you can pull off several of the panels that are on the floor. The door opens. You've got this entire piece on the side of the door there that looks like it can, you know, has some kind of playability feature to it. The entire front section of the entire, like, you know, I guess like the flooring seems to separate, and you have a little bit of storage in there for blasters, and that's really awesome. A little control panel there with a analog stick. You've even got the same exact storage container that we saw with the Imperial Assault hover tank. So that's a kind of, I guess you can call it a little bit of a cool bit of like point of crossover there. So I mean, that's definitely pretty nice to see again. That was a great design. And then we have 3 thermal detonators with this build, so that's really awesome. Those are always great to have. And then a couple binoculars, and also you might notice there is a pretty decent amount of stickers on the flooring. Pretty much, I think all of those yellow markings are all stickers. I don't think there's a single printed piece on this build, but I guess that's okay. And then the last thing I do want to point out, it looks like the Death Star plans are actually, I'm hoping that at least is a printed piece, but it might not be. You can't tell from these photos, but that appears to be included with the set. And I want to say those are the Death Star data tapes, but I mean, if you watch the celebration behind the scenes reel, you can clearly see Jyn Erso running with what looks like data tapes, but then this just more so looks like a black panel with a Death Star printed on it. So I don't really know if it's, I mean, it could very well be the same thing, and this just could be LEGO's portrayal of it, because maybe they didn't want to make a new piece. I have no idea what that really is, if those are the Death Star plans or not, but it clearly looks like it, just not what we've seen in the trailers and behind the scenes footage thus far is all I'm saying. So yeah guys, this looks like a really cool set. I'm guessing it's probably going to be 30 to 40 bucks, and if it's 30 bucks I would say it's worth it. If it's 40, maybe wait, but aside from that, that's really it. And I mean, this looks awesome. I can't wait to review it. I didn't realize that it has already been 4 years since we had our last Y-Wing set. That's craziness. I didn't realize it's been that long. But this new Y-Wing for Rogue One is obviously very similar to previous iterations that we've had. You know, obviously it does have some elements taken from the original one, or I shouldn't say the original one, but the last one from 2012. But it's still a unique version, and it's definitely more refined. You can really see the design polish here. It's just a little bit more together looking than, you know, the previous Y-Wing that we had 4 years ago, but the minifigs look pretty solid. You don't have any key players in this set, but that's honestly okay because they still do look pretty cool, and you do get a pretty nice variety in terms of the actual like species that are included here, namely Moroff. And Moroff, that's an entirely new figure there. We've had some leaked pictures of this figure in some better quality, but I'm not sure if it's safe to include those here, so we're just going to stick with this for now. But you can see that entirely newly molded piece on him looks awesome. You can have that backpack fit on there. He's got leg printing. I mean, he looks really cool. We've seen him in the trailers and other promotional art, and that's awesome. And then we do have our Mon Calamari Admiral here, and that is an entirely new color for the Mon Calamari headpiece. I think that's super cool, and there's actually a specific name for who this Admiral is. It's like Admiral something, but I can't seem to find his name anywhere, and the resolution on this picture of the box art just certainly doesn't do it. You really can't tell, but if you guys do, please do let me know down in the comments. But that looks like a really nice figure, some nice printing on his torso and legs, and I love the new color for the head. Having that variety is awesome. And then we do have another Stormtrooper with the Y-Wing, which is great. The more Stormtroopers, the better. We have not, again, I mentioned it, you know, before, we have not had a decent amount of clean Stormtroopers in a while, so that's really awesome. And then we do have the same exact pilot that we had with the U-Wing, and it's the exact same figure, and I'm pretty sure he was specific to the U-Wing, but I guess he's now also with, I mean, maybe he flies has both ships in the movie. I don't know if he's even a specific character, but regardless, it's the same figure. You've got your U-Wing pilot acting as your Y-Wing pilot for this set. Literally the same figure. And I mean, that's not necessarily a bad thing. I think a new head would have been nice, but there is that. And then also finally the astromech droid for the final of the last minifigure here. It looks like he's got a clear dome. That's pretty awesome. I don't think LEGO's ever made an astromech droid that has a clear dome like that, but it's really cool looking and definitely pretty unique. And then also you can see that we do have the entire vast variety of accessories here, namely the crane, and then you do have this entire little piece that holds all the spring-loaded shooters, or at least the 2 extra ones they include, and then also the torpedoes that the Y-Wing drops, because obviously Y-Wings are bombers. So I mean, that is super awesome. And then the actual Y-Wing build, like I said, it has a lot in terms of, has a lot of similarities to the one that we had 4 years ago, but it's just more polished, it's more refined, and it just looks more, it looks like it's probably sturdier. It just looks like an overall more solid iteration, and definitely a modern iteration of the Y-Wing build. So you've got your slot for your astromech droid. You can see that there's clearly going to be a feature that allows you to drop those bombs out of the bottom of the Y-Wing, stickers on those giant pieces on the sides. I never actually found out what those are called on the sides of Y-Wings, but yeah. And then you do also have the cockpit opening up, and we really can't tell if there's a control panel piece in there or not, but you do have the rotating gun on the top, and then the cannons on the front, which are just more so there for decorations. I'm guessing that these stud shooters are probably going to be somewhere on the bottom of the build, if I were to guess, right underneath the cockpit, but maybe on the sides. You got a lot of jumper plates used on this version of the Y-Wing, even some bar pieces in there that we've seen before in previous iterations. You even got a couple battle droid bodies in there. I mean, this looks like a really solid Y-Wing, and I really cannot wait to add this one to my collection and review it for you guys. Hopefully I'll get the chance because this one definitely looks pretty great. So that was the last of our new Rogue One set pictures, and also the last of our box art. As you might have seen in the intro, there wasn't actually any box art images released. I mean, we had the confidential versions, which really no YouTuber should put in their videos, and so clearly I'm not going to here. So we don't really have any box art material to work with, just this one product photo for the rest of these sets. So product photos will have to work because we still can clearly see everything here, and with this new Phantom, you can see it's obviously the same repurposed Separatist shuttle that we saw the Rebels use at the end of what was the episode called? The Last Battle, the Clone Wars tribute episode, basically, where they lose the Phantom. Well, they had already lost the Phantom, but then they steal a Separatist shuttle, and then Sabine paints it up so that it works and fits in with the rest of the Ghost. And so that leads everybody to wonder, okay, will this new tiny ass looking Separatist shuttle be able to fit into the 2014 Ghost set? And here's hoping. We've got no confirmation, and you really can't tell based on this photo if it will be able to or not, so we can really only hope. And I mean, it would be great. I mean, that would probably be the ideal thing, and hopefully LEGO thought of that, because man, what a waste that would be if you couldn't update your Ghost with this new Phantom, which is again just a repurposed Separatist shuttle, but that's totally fine. I do have to mention, though, we'll talk about the figures in a second, but this Separatist shuttle, man, I mean, we really can't see much going on here other than the landing gear being posable in 2 different spots. You have 2 points of articulation on each leg. The cockpit opens. We really can't tell what's going on in the back, but I'm sure there's probably going to be an opening hatch on the back, like the boarding ramp that we see on Separatist shuttles. And then you have the spring-loaded shooters. But aside from that, all that is really just a lot of stickers and white pieces. So just It's just my only thing is that, like, I'm just thinking back to like the 2009 Separatist shuttle, and this really doesn't compare in terms of the design, and that's why I'm hoping that because this looks like such a downgrade in comparison to the original Separatist shuttle design LEGO did back then, I'm hoping that means that they did this and made it all small and blocky so that it would actually fit into the Phantom set. And that could also just be the fact that they wanted to make it look like the Rebels variant, and this is pretty much what the Separatist shuttle does look like in Rebels, just obviously scaled down. So I don't know. Here's hoping. But the two minifigures included, I guess the three if you include Chopper, you got Grand Admiral Admiral Thrawn, bro. You got your first official Grand Admiral Thrawn minifigure, and man, does that look good. Oh my god, look at him in all of his Chiss glory. He just looks great. I'm really hoping that face design is really nice looking, because I really can't, it doesn't really look like he's got red pupils based on this photo, so here's hoping that it's just the resolution that is making it look like his eyes are like, you know, standard black. We're kind of hoping that they're red. So there is that, and then the torso design on him is very simplistic, exactly what you see in Star Wars Rebels, and pretty much everything you would expect from a Grand Admiral Thrawn minifigure. You got the Widow's Peak carapace in dark blue, as we pretty much all expected LEGO to use. I'm going to be personally using that on my custom Grand Admiral Thrawn, just in a, I'm going to be sanding it down quite a bit. So yeah, you also got a crate, which appears to have a sticker on the top of it, and they're using a minifig stand for the top of that crate, for the lid, so that's pretty cool. You got a thermal detonator included with this set, by the way, if anyone cares. And then we also do have the new Kanan variant, and that looks freaking awesome, man. Look at that new piece. They've got his entire like new like, god, what do I even call it, his like visor piece molded into the hairpiece, so it looks like it's one double molded piece that they've now made to update their Kanan, and it looks awesome, man. You got the J guys printed onto the front of it, as we see in Star Wars Rebels. You've got the new torso design and the legs. I mean, that looks like a great new figure. Honestly, I'm a little bit more excited for the Kanan than I am the Grand Admiral Thrawn. So that's, you know, take that for what it is. And then we've got Chopper included with this set, and there's nothing new with Chopper. So yeah, that's it. There you go. New Phantom, aka Separatist Shuttle, and the debut of Grand Admiral Thrawn and updated Kanan. Looks like a pretty solid set to me. I'm definitely gonna pick it up. Speaking of Phantoms, we've got our new Phantom Menace set, the final duel. Nope, that's not right. The duel on Naboo. And of course, this is the duel that took place in that plasma refinery complex. And this is seriously looking like a really great play set that I probably won't buy and I probably won't review. But that's why we're going to talk about it here. And so the Darth Maul minifigure that you can see in this set is pretty much taken straight from the latest Sith Infiltrator set, and so is the Qui-Gon minifigure. They're pretty much the exact same ones from the latest Sith Infiltrator set that LEGO put out recently. Obviously, excluding you know, Maul does not have his cape or his hood from the looks of it, and Qui-Gon does not have the additional fabric piece or cape himself, and they're just, you know, obviously accurate to you know, what they were wearing during their duel, and so I think that's pretty great. And the Darth Maul minifigure is possibly the best Darth Maul minifigure yet, so it's great to see him in this set here as well. And then you also do have the new Obi-Wan variant, which is somewhat new. The legs aren't new, the torso is, I don't really think that's new either, but I do believe the face is new, and so that's pretty cool. And it looks like he might even have like the expression that he has when Qui-Gon gets gutted by Darth Maul. But all we're missing here is Ezra Bridger. Where is Ezra? Why is Maul not training Ezra in this set? Because that would make sense. I don't know what I'm talking about. Anyway, the actual build itself, the plasma refinery complex, this is pretty cool. You got the ray shields in there, represented by some standard bar pieces, and that's pretty cool. You really can't tell what the playability features are exactly because we don't have any box art to work with, but you can see you've clearly got the giant shaft that Darth Maul can be pushed down. So I mean, there is that, and you also do have some Technic pieces down in the bottom, and playability features that I have no idea what they do. So that's really all I can say, to be honest with you. You got a sticker on that wall back there, so that's awesome. And that's also it. I don't really have anything else to say. This looks like a really cool set, and if you've never bought a Phantom Menace set before in your life, I mean, maybe you could consider picking this one up, man. But looks like a great play set. Seriously, for kids, this looks awesome. I'm okay. There you go. And looks like this is our first Clone Wars set in 2 years. I didn't even realize that the last Clone Wars set we got was the Coruscant Police gunship in January of 2014. I reviewed that set. I can't believe that was the last Clone Wars set we've had. I didn't even notice the lack of Clone Wars sets in the past 2 years. Holy crap. And I don't really include Anakin's Custom Jedi Starfighter that came out at the start of last year, because that was based off the non-canon 2003 series. That was also awesome. But, I mean, this is our first Star Wars The Clone Wars set since 2014. It's like, God, LEGO did exactly what I figured they would. When the Clone Wars got canceled, they pushed out the last Clone Wars sets that they had in production, and that was it until now. And so Yoda's Jedi Starfighter here, clearly taken right from the Lost Missions episode, the final story arc of Star Wars The Clone Wars with Yoda. This looks like a very simple set. It's a little bit empty looking. I thought that was a great story arc in the Clone Wars, and I think LEGO, to make this set a little bit more interesting, they could have included some of those Force beings whose names are skipping my mind right now, that Yoda encountered on that Force planet. Because this set, you look at it and it does seem a little empty. For 20 bucks, I mean, I'm guessing that's how much this set's going to be. Maybe not. And hey, it's a really easy way to get Yoda. I think this is the cheapest way that you can get a Yoda minifigure yet. I don't think Yoda's ever been in a set this cheap from what I can remember. And that's great because when I was a kid, there hadn't been a Yoda minifigure in years. And do you know how much that shit cost on eBay? Anyway, the Starfighter looks really great. I mean, it looks exactly like what how it appeared in the Clone Wars. I mean, the wings, you can assume, will probably fold up and down. We don't have any box art to base that off of. We got 3 spring-loaded shooters, 2 of which, of course, will probably stick in the bottom of the cockpit. The cockpit dish piece, of course, is going to fold down. You can slide Yoda in there, I'm sure. And then we do have what looks like, from what we can see, 4 stickers maybe. You've got 2 on those 2x2 circular tiles on either wing, and then it looks like we have a Republic symbol on the top right of the cockpit, and then there might be one on the top left, but we really can't see. And aside from that, we got R2 in this set. He accompanied Yoda on his trip in that final story arc of the Clone Wars. And then one thing I want to note on this set is that we have the live action Yoda for a set based off of the animated Star Wars The Clone Wars series. So what that says to me is, you might recall how with the Clone Wars sets all the way up until the very end, I guess, it kind of feels like the Clone Wars sets ended in 2014, and this is kind of just like a leftover idea that somebody managed to get past LEGO and put into production. But with Star Wars Rebels, LEGO also killed the idea of animated looking minifigures. So the animated faces were gone. The animated style, newly molded headpieces like Yoda's, those are gone. You don't have any of those anymore, and all the Rebels minifigures might as well pass as live action characters because LEGO did not, bring over the animated eyes or any of that stuff, and so they have done the same here with this Clone Wars set. And so that's really cool because this is I think the first Clone Wars set ever where you have a minifigure that is just taken straight from, the other live action sets. I mean, this is taken straight from the Attack of the Clones Geonosis set that I can't remember the name of, and I think that's kind of cool. It would have been great to have those Force beings in the set to make this a little bit more complete, and maybe LEGO could have bumped the price up to $30, but I mean, it's still really cool for what it is and a great way to get Yoda, and that's it. I'm done talking about it. Okay, that was actually the last set. I don't know why I thought there was another one, but I guess that's it for this analysis video, guys. That was a little bit abrupt, wasn't it? Sorry about that. Thank you so much for sticking around for the whole thing. I have yet to edit any of this, so I have no idea how long this video has been, but once again, thank you so much for sticking around for the whole thing. And yeah, so if you enjoyed this analysis video, guys, or if this was at all informative for you or helped you in deciding as to which sets you plan on picking up come January 1st, 2017, when these are all released, be sure to let me know by dropping this video a like below and or your opinion on anything I might have said down in the comments, like anything you agree with, disagree with, mistakes I might have made. You guys are really helpful on the analysis videos with the mistakes I make, because these are probably the videos where I make the most. So yeah, but aside from that, that is pretty much it for this analysis video, guys. And I do want to mention before I go that you can totally follow me on the Twitter, the Facebook, and the Instagram, and the social medias, and links to all 3 of those are always down in the description below. And seriously, check that out, because this very well might be my last video until the Rogue One showcase, and I really am hoping I'll be able to finish all those figures on time. I'm doing my best, and I'm doing a lot of figures for the release of the film, and you were probably going to see a preview or 2 over on those places and those social medias before they end up making it to my channel here when the movie drops. And so definitely check that stuff out, guys. And also, I should mention that if I end up finding the extra time to, take a detour from my Rogue One figures like I am now, I might do the Ghost Rider showcase, because I did make him Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., so we'll see. But that's it for this analysis video, and I cannot wait to review the 2 battle packs at the very least, and hopefully the battle on Scarif, and maybe even that Rebel set with Thrawn. But the rest, I think I might have to pass on. I don't know. We'll see. Aside from that, though, that's it. Thank you once again for watching, and I'll see you later. We'll get back to working on my figures. Okay, bye-bye. What's going on, guys? It's Michael MGF, and today I'm going to be doing another analysis video. No, shit. I mean, again, there's no BS. There's no Imperial office. Oh, okay. Well, someone's home. 3 new buildable figures, but for the most part, we're going to focus on just the main wave of sets, the 2 new battle packs, the Y-Wing, the battle on Scarif. There is a lot going on here that is unique to it. And I don't know what those things are because I don't do my research. Where's the stop button? There it is. And speaking of phantoms, that brings up to what? What am I? Okay. I give up. Whatever, minifigure, but this is not a showcase, so hopefully you found this analysis inspiration. I'm all over the place. Oh my god. And you can and the AC just turned on. That's really loud, man.